Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Really glad you could join us.
Great to be here.
So today we're going into a story from history, but one that I think asks a question we all face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what do you actually do when it feels like the world's just slammed the door on you, or you're dealing with huge rejection, loss,
Yeah.
you feel properly broken? Where does the strength come from then?
That's a deep one. And very relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the core of what we're exploring today. We're diving deep into this pivotal, really intense moment from the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's the story of Taif.
Right.
And it's about facing just extreme rejection, incredible hardship, but finding this unbelievable resilience through it all.
And it's fascinating because, yeah, this happened centuries ago, but the core feelings, loss, betrayal, feeling totally alone, needing to dig deep for strength or purpose when things fall apart.
Yeah,
That's universal, isn't it?
completely.
Yeah.
Still happens today.
Absolutely. Anyone facing, any kind of major challenge right now can probably relate on some level. So looking at Taif, it gives us this really unique lens on perseverance, faith, and maybe the most surprising one, the power of mercy when you're in pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly why it grabs me. So, okay, our mission today. Let's unpack what happened in Taif. Let's pull out the key insights and really dig into how these lessons learned in moments of, frankly, agony and absolute conviction, how they can maybe offer some surprising ideas or guidance for you, whatever you might be facing.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Well, to really get the weight of Taif, we need the context, the emotional backdrop. Just before this trip, the Prophet, peace be upon him, had suffered these huge personal losses, like bang, bang, one after the other.
Yeah.
He lost his wife, Khadija. May Allah be pleased with her. Khadija R.A. I mean, she was his rock, right? His first supporter, his closest confidant.
It's hard to really overstate her importance, wasn't it? She wasn't just, a wife. She was his anchor, the first person who believed in his message, totally and utterly. Her support was foundational.
Absolutely foundational. And then almost right after, his uncle Abu Talib died.
Mm.
And Abu Talib, well, he wasn't actually a follower of the message himself, but he gave the Prophet crucial protection. In Makkah, that tribal protection was everything. Abu Talib's status basically shielded him from the worst of the persecution.
Exactly. So losing him meant losing that physical safety net in a very real, very dangerous way. Tribal ties were paramount then.
So imagine losing both of them so close together. He was heartbroken, obviously, but also just incredibly vulnerable. He was pretty much isolated in Makkah. People weren't really listening anymore, not like they had been. The threats were getting worse day by day.
You've got the immense personal grief, which must have been just crushing, and then the strategic crisis. He's exposed, the two main pillars of support, gone. His options in Makkah looked pretty bleak.
Yeah, bleak is the word. And yet, and this is amazing, even in that state, grief-stricken, vulnerable, feeling alone, he decides to act. He sets off on foot, walks nearly 80 kilometers.
80 kilometers.
80 kilometers to the city of Taif. Think about just the physical effort involved, especially when you're already down,
Wow. And why Taif?
His purpose was singular, really, to invite the people there to God, to truth, to peace. He was hoping for a fresh start, maybe find people who would listen, a place where the message could take root.
That journey itself speaks volumes, doesn't it? About his commitment. To do that, not to run away from the pain, but to keep going with his mission despite everything. This shows incredible conviction. He wasn't looking for comfort for himself.
No, not at all. He was trying to fulfill his purpose, even when it probably felt hopeless.
That kind of inner drive, wow.
But Taif, what happened there was it was brutal. It was like they just said no thanks. The leaders, they didn't just reject him, they mocked him, laughed in his face. And then this part is just shocking. They got the street kids, even slaves, to actually insult him, chase him out of the city, throwing stones at him.
Oh, that's more than just rejection in that culture. For leaders to do that, to use children and slaves to physically attack and humiliate a visitor, especially one from a respected lineage, that was calculated degradation. It was meant to utterly break his spirit, destroy his dignity publicly. It was incredibly cruel, designed to send a powerful message: stay away and don't listen to him.
The descriptions are just heartbreaking. He was bleeding, badly. His sandals were soaked with his blood from the stones hitting him. His heart must have just been shattered. This total rejection, the humiliation.
Unimaginable.
He basically fled until he found shelter in this little private garden outside the city. Just collapsed there, weak, injured, totally alone. He sat under a tree, just broken. This is so crucial, still connected to Allah. It's a moment of just raw pain and vulnerability.
Absolute rock bottom, you could say. Physically hurt, emotionally battered after already suffering so much loss. He came seeking hope and found just pure malice, really.
Yeah.
And it's right there, in that state of utter brokenness, when anyone might just give up, despair. That's when he turns to his ultimate source. What he does next tells us everything about where his resilience came from.
Right. Under that tree, exhausted, bleeding, he makes a prayer, a dua, a really heartfelt supplication to God. And it's a prayer that, honestly, it still makes believers cry when they hear it today. It wasn't a curse, not a demand for revenge.
No, the words are just so profound. He does complain, but it's not out of anger. He basically lays his weakness bare. He says something like, "Oh, Allah, I complain to you of my weakness, my lack of resources, and my humiliation before the people."
It's so honest, isn't it? Admitting his human frailty, turning to God at his lowest ebb, just acknowledging his total dependence, like surrendering the pain.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
then comes this line, this absolutely incredible pivotal line. It just cuts right to the heart of his resilience.
Which one?
He says, "As long as you are not angry with me, I do not care what I face."
Wow. That's thinking. As long as you're not angry with me, I don't care what I face.
Yeah.
After that ordeal.
Yeah. He had every reason, humanly speaking, to be furious, to want payback, to feel crushed. But his main worry, his ultimate concern wasn't the stones or the insults. It was about his relationship with his creator. Could God be displeased with him?
The focus is just something else.
It's astonishing, really. That line reveals so much. It wasn't about getting even. It was about this immense love, this complete submission, this unshakable faith. The real aha moment is seeing that his strength didn't come from external validation or people's approval or even avoiding pain. It came from that deep internal connection with Allah. That was his anchor.
It's his true north.
Exactly. It just transcended everything else.
Okay, so then after this prayer, after pouring his heart out, comes maybe the most powerful moment of the whole story, a real test. An angel appears, the angel of the mountains, a being of incredible power. And this angel asks the prophet, peace be upon him, basically, give the word and I will crush these people between the two mountains surrounding Taif.
Imagine that offer right then, while he's still bleeding, humiliated, alone.
He had, what many would call every right to say yes. Swift, decisive justice, retribution served.
The power to just erase the source of that suffering. The immediate human reaction, you'd think, would be, yes, do it, especially after such trauma.
Right, makes him pay.
But his choice, what he said next while still sitting there, hurt and rejected, it just defies that completely. It really shows his character.
Because he said.
What did he say?
He said, no.
Just no. Yeah.
No, I hope that from their children will come people who will worship Allah alone.
Wow, not revenge, hope.
Exactly. Mercy over revenge, hope over hate. Even then, in agony with the power to destroy them right there, he's thinking about the future, about the potential for good, even from the descendants of those who had just brutalized him. That's the heart of it, isn't it? That choice.
It truly is. It shows this incredible compassion, this visionary perspective, this deep, deep mercy. It's such a powerful lesson in leadership, in humanity itself.
So, okay, bring it back to us. What does this all mean for you and me listening now? Because, let's face it, we all experience pain. We all get rejected, maybe not with stones, thankfully, but, a job, a relationship, a dream project.
Sure.
We all feel broken sometimes by our careers, our relationships, our own struggles. The world might not physically attack us, but that emotional pain, feeling betrayed, isolated, that can feel just as sharp, right?
Absolutely. And this story, Taif, it offers some really profound takeaways for anyone facing that kind of hardship. First off, it's a reminder. Your pain, that rejection, feeling broken, that's not the end.
Right. It's not the whole story.
Exactly. It's a chapter, maybe a really tough one, a test even, but it doesn't define your worth or your journey's end. Second, when it feels like everyone's turned away, when you feel most alone, that's the moment to find your anchor, your source of strength, your higher purpose.
For him, it was clearly his connection to Allah.
Yes. For you listening, it might be your core values, maybe spiritual practice, maybe an unshakable belief in what you're doing, or maybe it's the love of the few people who really are there for you. Whatever it is, find it.
That's such a key point, turning inward or upward or toward that anchor, especially when you feel like you're drifting and alone. Taif shows us that even at rock bottom, you're not truly without support or interconnection if you know where to look, if you've cultivated that deep inner resource.
Well said. And maybe the biggest lesson, the truly transformative one, it's that ultimate strength. It doesn't come from power or getting even or crushing those who hurt you.
Even if you could.
Even if you could, real lasting strength comes from choosing forgiveness, choosing hope, choosing mercy, even when you have the power to strike back, even when the wounds are fresh.
That's tough to do.
It is, but that's where real strength lies, choosing to build, to hope, to forgive, to show mercy, even when everything in you might scream for the opposite. That's following in the footsteps of incredible resilience, I think.
Yeah. And that really circles back to the core insight from Taif, doesn't it? Real strength, real resilience. It's not about dodging pain or getting revenge. It comes from that deep inner conviction, that sense of purpose beyond the immediate situation, and, crucially, the transformative power of mercy, finding light even when it seems utterly dark.
Precisely. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to take away and, just mull over.
Got it.
Think about a time in your own life, a time you felt really rejected or hurt or just completely alone. How does this story, the story of Taif, maybe challenge you to think differently about how you respond to adversity? And importantly, where do you look for your own source of that unshakable hope when it feels like everything else is falling apart?
That's a powerful question to sit with. Really powerful. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you.
We really hope this gives you something valuable to reflect on. Keep exploring, keep reflecting on your own journey. Until next time, take care and walk with patience and conviction.